bring up the scene, what I'm looking at. Since we last talked to you, we're gonna start things by talking about the KBO draft. Now, the KBO draft is not nearly as extensive, or quite frankly, as long as the Major League draft, which I love that part of this game. I generally, if you go on my YouTube page, you'll see the Philly streams that I've done in the past. The Phillies are my favorite team. I got my shirt. Love playing with that team. Love trying to build that organization. And the draft is fun, but man, those last few rounds can get rough, right? Because it's very long. It's a lot of players. KBO talent pool, a little thinner, obviously. I think that would be common sense to say that. 11 round draft, excuse me. And not nearly as many high-end prospects as you would find. I don't know how proportional that is, but this is a look at that draft that happens towards the end of, let's see, what month are we in? Towards the end of the season. I think in August, like 26th, that happened on this calendar. Now, that doesn't mean that's when it happens in reality. Sometimes those things are different out of the park as compared to what happens in the real world. But this is what we did in the draft. There you see our major transactions for the season. We extended Castaneda. We may talk about that at the end of this live stream. And if we're looking towards the future, if things don't go well today, we did trade this infielder at the trade deadline for Kim, the relief pitcher. That trade so far looks pretty good. Kim's been good for us. Well, there you see. If hopefully you can see in clear enough on that. Kim is in 9 appearances. He's pitched 9 innings and has not given up an earned run. So 9 strikeouts. So that's been a good addition. Some of the folks around him have not done so well. But our first round pick was a little bit of a surprise. We thought we were going with an outfielder. We had the second pick in the draft. There were 3 guys that were like what I would consider high-end potential guys. So we'll say 65 or over, 60 or over. Actually, that's not true. I think one of these guys was a 50. But the outfielder I thought we were going to get actually ended up going first. Because I thought he was the best player. The mock draft said no, he was going to fall. But he did not fall. He went first. He was the best bat in the draft. But we may have gotten the best all-around player. Not a great base runner. He's not going to steal a lot of bases. So he's below average in those area. Just an average base runner. Not going to be a great defensive player. Be a serviceable second baseman. If you played him at third, he might develop into an okay third baseman. We have a third baseman who's young, so we're not too concerned about that. But this guy does have some really raw power. He's going to make average to above average contact. Our scouting rating on him is very high. The rest of the league, that's what he looks like to them. So I think the only difference is the rest of the league has an average scouting report on him. They think he's got a little more power than we do. So we're going to probably, I don't know how long it takes guys in the KBO to develop, so I don't know how far away from the roster this guy is, but you'd think sometime in the relatively near future, next season or the season after that, this guy will probably go up to the Eagles, and we'll see. Could be a second baseman. If the bat comes out, maybe he's a DH. Left-handed bat with a lot of power. I don't love him at shortstop. We've got a third baseman who does a fine job. So second base or maybe DH is where this guy ends up. And then after that, it's not really anything crazy. We took a lot of infielders. Did grab a outfielder or 2, towards the end of the draft. But these are all guys who are actually this guy that potentially for KBO could do all right. I mean, better athletic skills here. He would play a decent second base, and he'll make decent contact. He won't strike. He's got an okay eye. Like, this guy could be all right at the plate. You just don't know. But that was our second pick, and that's the kind of thing that you're dealing with here. Here's our third pick. So guys with strengths. I tried to go with guys that could give me something, either as a utility guy or just there was something that had them stand out. But it wasn't, this guy's going to be one of those borderline relief pitchers, and we'll see if he can break in. Sometimes these guys are successes, sometimes they're not. So, yeah, but that's it. That was our draft. We won't go through the whole thing because it's really, that's your third, top 3-4 guys. And, yeah, you can see it's not going to be anything crazy exciting there. And who knows how long it takes them to develop. Here's a look at the standings on our homepage. Since we last saw you, we're still sitting 66 and 65. So we're having trouble getting past this 500, one game over 500 mark. We are currently sitting 5th. That is the final playoff spot. So that's what we're going to try to hang on to today. We want to ideally get the 4th, but we've actually dropped. We were ahead of Samsung for a little bit, for about a day or two, and then we've dropped back. We'll look at the schedule so you can see what's happened. We last streamed, I believe it was the Samsung series, where we took 2 out of 3. Since then, it's been mixed. Some highs and lows, we'll call it. A lot of rain. A lot of rain that really affected the outcome of some of these games because it really got messed up the pitching staff, honestly. So we took 2 of 3 from Samsung. We saw that on the live stream. 2 out of 3 from Kaiwoon, a team that we should take 2 out of 3 from. LG, we lost 2 out of 3, but we salvaged that last game. The SSG, the Lander series. Actually, maybe this is the one we did on the last stream. I'm not sure if we did or not. Maybe it was a YouTube video, but we swept the Landers, and that was a big series. We'll take a quick look back because here's the Landers. We knocked them down below 500. They were right up here in the standings with us. So the Landers are, it's only a game and a half, but that's where they sit right now. So big sweep there. You go into NC. NC is like a third place team. You knew they were going to be trouble. Lose the first 2. And that's somewhere in here is where the rain started and has just not stopped. Every game has had rain in it. We had this game. We had a game on the 22nd. That one was postponed, and that one got moved to this Monday, which was supposed to be a day off. And the game that we were scheduled on the 23rd, we played a few innings of that. It got postponed and moved to the 24th. So we played a doubleheader here. Take 2 out of 3 from, oh my gosh, is it Doosan or Duwan? Doosan, I believe. Yeah, Doosan Bears. And then we got to play this game here, which we won. Great. But then we go into Latte with some pitching issues. Get the snot knocked out of us on the 27th. Rally to win the 28th, but then lose a 1-run game. This one was really disappointing because Rue pitched this one, and he pitched excellent. He pitched 8 innings, just 3 earned runs. Just couldn't get any runs for him. And we dropped that one. No has been, well, he's 0 for 4 in this game. Bad game to look at. But No has been just knocking the ball out of the park left and right. Average at 361, 34 homers, 115 RBIs. I haven't done a league-wide check, but this guy's got to be one of the top MVP candidates, especially if you consider the most valuable player, literally the most valuable player. And look at this lineup, 34 home runs. The only other person contributing with any pop is Melendez with his 21. Melendez having a very solid season as well. At the end of this, we're going to talk about what we may be doing next year if we're not in the playoffs. Melendez is a guy that, believe it or not, may not come back. We'll talk about that. Let's see. So, offensively, been better, but doing all right. The only real power we got is from No and Melendez, but being third out of 10 teams is all right. Pitching staff overall has been okay, but the number 4 bullpen And that's been because there's just days where the bullpen is just really bad. And that's what's been a lot of our problems. Number 4 and 5 starters have not done well lately either. So this is where we sit. 17.5 out from LG. LG's clinched a playoff spot. Kia's clinched a playoff spot. They just have to decide who's winning the division, gets that number 1 seed. Dinos are pretty comfortable in the 3rd spot. Samsung, who we're trying to catch, but we're really honestly trying to hang on to this thing because we have a game lead on KT. The good news is the teams going up against us for these last 2 playoff spots have tougher schedules than us. We won't flip over and go through all of those, but we're looking at Samsung, who we need to beat to square this thing away. And again, we'll take a quick glance back. Samsung is a game and a half ahead of us. We've got 3 against them head-to-head today. Because of time, we're not going to play any of these games. We're going to sim them out because this is, like I said, going to have to be a short stream today. And we'll come back later on tonight with something different. But Samsung, first 2, we end the month. We get into September, and bam, that's it, man. We get the final game against Samsung, get a much-needed day off, and then Kaiwun, Dusan, I hope I'm getting them right. And then the last game against LG. But we're playing the team that we need to beat, and then we're playing 2 of the lower-ranked teams on the schedule. So this should benefit us because our opponents are playing the tougher teams. They had a much tougher schedule at the end. So let's just go into this thing. Let's see how this goes out today against Samsung. I think we have Vera going, and then we have 4 and 5. So this could be tough. I don't think Castaneda is going to be ready to go on short notice. So we think we're just going to have to ride out the pitching staff that we've got, keep our fingers crossed, and we're just going to go day by day, check these results, take a quick peek at the box score, keep your fingers crossed. 9-5 loss. That was the one we really needed to win too because Vera is the best pitcher we've got in this series. 5 runs on 5 hits. Melendez drove in 3. No goes 0 for 3 with 2 walks. On had 2 hits, but 9 runs on 14 hits for Samsung. I just suspect the bullpen. Well, no, actually Vera's last 2 starts have been pretty bad. 5 innings, 4. Actually, that's 3 starts. Man, well, he lost that game to LG where we made that error, and he ended up giving up 8 runs, and just 2 of them were earned. But since then, it's been a tough go for him. And let's see, bullpen not great as well. So something we'll talk about a little later. Attendance 7,495 in this one at Samsung. And I'm telling you that for a reason. All right, let's go to, gotta change the month first. See if we can't catch a break here. All right, player development. We'll come back to that while we're in the midst of doing this. Oh, so we lost that one too. So end the month of August, 3-game losing streak. Team is not playing good baseball right now. I was for a second there, I thought they sat no. I was thinking, what? So 4 runs, 8 hits for Samsung, 3 runs on 6 hits. Melendez drove in 2, no did drive in 1. But you're seeing my offense is coming out of pretty much 2 guys right now. And pitching-wise, Lee, not a terrible start for him, though. I mean, Lee is not a great rated player. That's about what you expect out of him. And again, just under 8,000, 7,656 is the attendance. And again, I'm telling you that for a reason, foreshadowing. All right, so here we go. We got a beat these guys because now we've dropped 3.5 behind them, so they're almost getting out of reach. Luckily, KT is not doing anything, and the Landers seem to have gone the wrong direction. Latte, Kaiwoon, and Doosan all eliminated from the playoffs, so we might be backing into this thing. All right, won't hurt to have an extra arm. All right, at least we're back to the top of the rotation now. Pick up the win in the final game. So Moon comes through, a good start for him. Actually, Moon, terrible in his last two, but was pitching well prior to that. So a good start for him, solid 6. He's the younger guy that we're hoping develops this. Be very important for this team if we play into the future. And finish off that Monday day off, get everybody rested. Now here we go. Still sitting in 5th. KT's dropped 2 back, so we're sitting at 500. Just looking at the Landers and thinking they have to be getting close. We got 7 games to go, so elimination can't be too far away. I thought I just... All right, so Melendez is looking for a contract extension. I did one with Castaneda earlier in the season, and since I did that, I decided to hold off because I am to try to keep the spirit of the KBO. I don't know if the game would even let me, but I'm trying to keep to that 3 foreign player limit on the roster. So when it comes to Vera and Melendez, both have played well, but the decision there is going to be, are they playing well enough to stay on the team? Like, in other words, do I need something more than, say, Melendez, who's a great bat, but do I need somebody who can, like, maybe play a key position rather than just corner, outfield, or DH? All right, so let's take this up to the 4th. Let's see how we do against these guys. We should be able to rack up some wins here, and we don't. Well, if we don't make it, it's really because of this. That's early in the season, we played well against the teams that were lower in the standings. We have not really taken advantage of that. Castaneda, 14-5 with that loss. Not a good start for him, though. Bullpen was good. 4 runs on 7 hits. So, yeah, this one looks like it's going to be on Castaneda, who's been right up there with Rue as 2 of the top pitchers in the KBO. 4-run performance for Halstead, the center fielder. Kind of what I was just talking about, though, is, look, this guy, not a great arm, but solid center fielder, solid bat. You know, one of their foreign players filling in a key role. And, yeah, we'll get more into that in a bit. So let's see. Still 3.5 behind Samsung. KT now a game behind us. So got to take care of business here. And this would be, oh man, Rue started that, or should have started that game. Yep, he did not have a great game. He falls to 8-9, 4 runs in 6 innings. See the 3.16 earned run average, though. He's been so good. And Paravicini? My best attempt at that. Paravicini, I'm going to say. Out pitches Rue in this one. Good start for him. 6 solid innings. Bullpen closes it down. He's the player of the game. This game, 5,331. Now, this is the attendance for 2 below 500 teams. So, but again, foreshadowing. 2 runs on 8 hits. Not going to get it done. No with 3 hits. But no one to knock in as Melendez goes 0 for 4. And let's wrap up the series here with, what is it, the Heroes? And there we win the final game in 10 innings. So we keep doing this. We keep salvaging things by not getting swept. But with 4 games to go, still in that 5th spot, NC, Kia, and LG are all in. Still Lati and Kaiwoon and Doosan out. But KT's still hanging on. Mathematically, they're still in this thing. They're just 2 behind me. And the Landers are now only a game and a half behind me. And that's your scouting report on Doosan. These the guys that... No, okay. I can't. One of the lower teams, I'm going to say, maybe it's Kaiwoom. They just hit home runs. Yeah, they're number 2 in home runs. I have had so much trouble with them because they're weak in so many areas, but they have a ton of power. I was thinking it was the Bears, but it was actually the Heroes, the team we just played. So, yeah, our struggles with them continue. So here we go. All right, a big win there, 11-2. Pitching matchup had Lee with a good start, goes to 6-10. Still that mid-4 earned run average tells you pretty much how his season's been. It's been up and down. Watch this thing come down to me having to beat LG for a playoff spot. All right, so day-to-day injury for Moon. Trying to figure out which Moon that is. Is that our center fielder or the pitcher? It was our pitcher. He's day-to-day for 2 weeks. We're not going to really worry about that for the moment because top of the rotation, Castaneda. We did pick up a 5-3 win, so we got 2 games left, so that may or may not matter. That puts us back above 500 at 70-69. 5-3 win. 5 runs on 10 hits, 3 on 11. Moon drove in 3, the center fielder Moon. No was 4 for 5. Look at that batting average, up to 367. That is insane. That's a 144 or 142 game season. So that's 21, and he may have missed a month. We'd have to go back and look at that, but he was out for a fairly significant amount of time. It was about 4 episodes ago, maybe, in the series, if you go to YouTube and check that out. But the team hung when he was out for the most part. Let's see. So, yeah, like I said, Moon 1 for 5, 3 RBIs. Clutch hit there. 4 for 5 for no. On with 2 hits. And I'm going to say Moon left this game with an injury. Not a great start. Left with an injury. Bullpen picked it up, though. Picked up the slack. And, all right, that's that one. 7,700 in attendance to see the Bears play the Eagles. All right, so it looks like we've got a game and a half over the Landers. The Landers must have 2 games. Otherwise, they'd be... Okay, so yeah, they have 2 games. We have 2 games. Or did we just... Yes, we still have 2. Okay, I was thinking we were down to 1. So a nice little 3-game winning streak might push us over the top here. Let's see what we can do here. 5-2 win. Nice job. That may or may not have clinched to something, depending on what other teams have done. Castaneda, 15-5. That'll be his last start of the regular season. Really, really good season for him. Glad we extended him because he is pretty good. between him and Rue, 2 of 5 starts are taken care of. 8,200, so maybe the playoff implications of this one helped with attendance. Let's see, 5 runs, 10 hits. Moon with 2 hits, so Moon the center fielder, picking things back up, keeping his average over 300 for the season. For some reason, they sat no. I mean, he would have to be really tired. I hope he's not hurt. But for some reason, no did not play in this game. Melendez took third. Still managed to come through with 5 runs without our best offensive player. And let's take a look here. And that did it. That's it. So we have clinched a playoff spot. Pop some champagne. Let's sim this out. We'll end it. We did clinch a playoff spot, which is great news. No is the home run champion of the KBO. And we did get into the playoffs, something that Hanwha did not do in the 2024 season. So progress there.